Yeah. So we want to introduce everybody. We want to welcome everybody to the first episode of Let's Make History podcast. You know the culprits, L, Fresh, Charm.
Yo.
Yo, let's make history, fellas.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's do
All
it.
right, so we're going to pop this thing off, man. We wanted to talk about shit that's overrated, but we're going to do it based from a standpoint from this ranking with Ranker from Ranker.com. Excuse me, Ranker.com. They're a site, and they pretty much they allow people all over the world to vote, right? On different topics, on a lot of bunch of shit.
Right. So in actuality, it's based on the world.
It's based on the world, and people can vote, right?
The voting world.
Yeah. So it's not like a situation where you have like
Your cousin's opinion.
yeah, or it's not that. But it could be, but you know what I'm saying, based on this, it's not like it's professionals in this industry that all vote on it.
Right.
You know, so that was one of the reasons I wanted to kind of use this as a reference point because it gives us a lot to talk about from the scope of it's a lot of people all around the world, and I think based off of the voting, we'll be able to kind of see the generation that's voting the most. Right. I think that's kind of evident when you look at some of these topics. So we're going to start with the greatest of all time rap list that they have. We'll start there. And
you know what's important that you just said? Around the world. Because first reading it, when you read from your perspective, you read locally minded,
right?
Which you grew up,
right?
Again, now expanding what people in Germany may think,
right?
Or because of the internet. This is an important list. As soon as you said that, it just kind of changed a little bit of what I was thinking of.
Yeah, and that's why I was like, okay, this is the scope of we can see exactly what different people. Right. So, I'm actually I'm gonna pass it to L first. You know what I'm saying? We gonna let, because I feel like L's gonna start us off. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna get everything going the right way, and it's gonna get everybody working.
Yeah,
Get the juices
just
flowing.
to give.
Now, are you gonna do that's overrated or compared to that's overrated?
Well, let me
based on that's overrated.
Yeah. Well, let's just to give people kind of a little bit of what we're looking at. I think it's fair to kind of give them.
What's
you do think like who they have in their top 10 at least, or
yeah. Let's do that.
So starting off, I'm gonna go from 10 on up. Coming in at number 10, they got Lil Wayne. Number 9, they got J. Cole. Number 8, they got Nas. 7, Snoop. 6, Ice Cube. 5, Dr. Dre. 4, Kendrick. 3, Eminem. 2, Big. 1, Pac.
Well, okay, hold up, because on this list, I got
Big at 3.
Big is at 3.
Oh, okay.
You might be looking at albums.
M is at 2.
Are you looking at albums?
M is 2. Okay, all right.
You might be looking at albums.
So I got the 3 messed up. So but Pac was considered number 1.
Here's important when you use terminology in hip hop culture, and I got to bring this because we're making history in hip hop culture. I'm talking real quick. Rapper and lyricist mean different things to different parts of the culture.
Absolutely.
So we got to figure out right now what we're saying this means for this particular topic.
Yeah,
does this mean lyricist talk or does this mean rapper talk?
I think when you look at it, I think as a hip hop artist. So regardless of, because you could say, if we're talking lyricists, I don't know if Tupac would be number 1 in lyricists. You know what I'm saying?
However, some people's minds.
Yeah, and some people, but I think the general consensus is that I don't know if you would say Pac was a better lyricist than Big. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I personally think this is just from when you talk about artists, you're just talking about just their body of work, impact, so on and so forth. So I think lyricist is just one part of the criteria.
So when we say rapper, we're saying body of work.
Yeah, just an artist, a hip hop artist.
Okay, that changes the dynamics.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think it should. So I mean, one of the things that I like about it is the fact that Pac is number 1, and when you take into account that you have people my age, and then you have younger people acknowledging that this guy is great. This guy was special, because Pac can give you pretty much any type of song.
Right.
You know, a song that you can ride to, a song you can play with your girl, a song that makes you think, a song that damn near make you cry. Right. You know what I'm saying? So he was very versatile. But when I think of overrated,
so you saying you're going to go to lyricists? That's why I said stick to the topic.
No,
because we're talking about body of a rapper work.
Yeah.
Okay,
so as far as somebody who I think that gets a lot of praise, but maybe I don't know. Wayne.
We knew you were going there.
Wayne.
We knew you were going there.
Wayne.
Now, let me say this. Really, that's why I was really clear on what we're talking about here. Mm-hmm. On this list, Wayne is the best rapper of all times. I'm going to say why I say that. Because
hold on, wait.
On this list, I didn't say nothing about lyricism. We're talking about rapper, because we said body of work. This is why we said, this is why I'm being clear. I'm going to tell you why. Yeah. Because for the next 50 years, the influences of hip-hop will be determined by Wayne. Abso-freaking-lutely. Everything that you see from this point on came from Wayne. And Wayne came from us. He came from Nas's. That's a great thing about that spiralization. He came from J's. He came from UGK's. He came from TI's. He came from Jeezy's. But he has been the face since 1997 for everything that dominates mainstream hip-hop. Everything. Now, lyricists, we talk another story.
Yeah.
Best rapper to put and absolutely. Yeah, he's in the top 5 of that too. Yeah, not to mention
top
that.
Top 5 lyricists of all time? Okay, that's a different
conversation. Yeah, right. But he's in it. That's a different conversation. And I was like, hold on. Right. He's at least top 6, 7 for sure. He's definitely top 6, 7 rounded out for, because when we're talking about expansion, we ain't talking about one period. If we were talking about one period of time, he'd be top 3. If we were just talking about one period of time. So, but we're talking about for 25 years, then yes, he's got to fall down somewhere. But in one period of time, he was top 3 for most people.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, no. Go ahead. I want you to go into why you feel like he's overrated.
Yeah. I mean, you know what it is, and again, one of the things that I don't want people to feel like if you're saying a person is overrated that you're discrediting them.
Right.
Nah. Wayne is dope.
He's dope.
He's super dope. However, I just think that he had his window when he was featured on everything, and he was doing $1 million a week, coming out. But I don't know if I could sit up here and say that.
I'm smelling a little hate.
No.
A little bit.
I just don't know if like 20 years from now he has something that's timeless. You know what I'm saying?
He does already. That's one. But the problem
music
was
music does.
Absolutely.
20 years from now, what?
The Carter 3, any one of his mixtapes, any one of those joints, early one of those are all going to be good for relevant hip hop people. Mainstream people are going to take any one of his Carter joints are going to be pretty much decent on those. The Hot Boys are going to be pretty much deep. But the only thing I was going to say to that was, not only will his music be different, but you can see the influence, the Kevin Gateses, the Futures, these all people that when they start drinking heavy and wearing dreads and the glasses, that wasn't what hip hop looked like. Yeah. Now it is what hip hop looked like. Period. That's what hip hop is and looks like. There is no really trying to say that. Now there is older hip hop. The same way there's older hip hop, there's mature hip hop, there's classic hip hop, there's smooth hip hop. But mainstream, what it looks like, where the money is, it looks like Lil Wayne and has been for a long time. What do you feel?
I agree. I think the impact that he had when the Hot Boys first came out still resonates to this day. When he came out with Bling Bling, that alone, like you said,
his turn.
It was his turn, and it set such a high mark.
People still use it now.
It's phrased. It's coined. His name will be in history because of Bling Bling.
Of Bling Bling.
There's no escaping him.
And drop it like it's hot.
Drop it like it's hot. And
there's no escaping Lil Wayne for entire. When you go, because the problem is when we become 60, you have to start somewhere. The same way it used to be when we were kids, you started at Sugar Hill Gang. Now you kind of start around the Nas, Jay-Z's when you start talking about hip hop. When it gets to when we're 50, it will start around Wayne's.
I agree.
Wayne did
that's
this.
A good point.
You remember da-da-da-da. This was the man, da-da-da. He would, because there is nothing you can trace back bigger than him. I mean, everything wanted to be there. What happened was he just got to a Quincy Jones level. I can't do the Chitlin circuit no more, champ. I can't. I got to be doing Paris. I got to be doing this. And even he was conflicted with that because he said when he was on tour with the can't remember the White Rock group, but whatever it was, he was just like, yo, I'm opening up. Even though I'm opening up to 100,000 people, it ain't even none of my people. It's weird when you transcend to a level. Now it's about, are you comfortable with transcending, or do you stay into a realm to try to keep people satisfied with your color? I don't know what's right or wrong.
Honestly, I think that when you talk about somebody that is probably the blueprint that artists, currently and probably moving forward resemble, I honestly think his protege is the guy that's going to be the guy. Drake. I think Drake really is the guy that has had significant influence on.
That's when we're 70. Drake is going to always refer to Wayne. Always
No. He is. It's almost, but it's kind of like if you hear Jordan Drum refer to Dr. J,
right.
So he was always going to say, but you at some point you acknowledge, okay, the teacher surpassed the master, and I think in that instance, I think Drake surpassed Wayne. Absolutely.
And he's not on his list, to be clear. So the world doesn't know about that.
He's way down the list.
Yeah, I personally think Drake is the guy over Wayne, to me, because when you think about Drake can rap, and he has the singing of the melodies that he puts that a lot of artists now are incorporating into their music. It's not about just bars. We know that.
Okay,
it ain't even about bars like that no more.
Let me say this.
You know what I'm saying? It's really about having a certain melody that people can follow that's a little bit, I'm not going to say dumbed down, but it's not as complex. You know what I'm saying? It's not hard to digest.
Right.
Where, for guys in my particular age group, we were kind of more focused on your bars. Like, yo,
absolutely.
What's this dude saying? Or what's she saying? Boom, boom, boom. Right. Bars ain't really the move right now. You know what I'm saying?
How many Drake alikes do you know of?
A lot.
I don't know anybody that looks like Drake or sounds like Drake.
Oh, no. But
there's a lot of Lil Wayne alikes. I don't know that many Drake alikes.
Yeah, but
you can't even try to be like Drake. I don't know any.
Nobody influence like listening to music.
Yeah,
you can hear it sounds like.
But
Drake.
that's transcended from Wayne. That's my point. Like that, his Drake. Everybody, his lineage comes from what I'm saying. The lineage. Mm-hmm. The lineage starts at Wayne. So when we start from a millennial 30, 40 year, you got to start with Wayne, because now before us it was Jay and Nas and all that. That is outdated because they are now unfathomably touched. Like you can't even, you don't even know what, can't touch them. You know what I'm saying?
Their name.
So it's Quincy Jones to them. You know, it's there in the shadows. You don't, it's not there no more. You're not tangible with these people. So then when you somebody tangible, Lil Wayne, if you can get Lil Wayne out to do this, it's still in an age that he's a big homie, still old enough, but still like, oh, okay, the big homie came through, because we know what his big homie is, baby. Right. His big homie is Jay. These are who his great grandfathers are. So when you think of that, Drake, I don't see a lineage of Drake lookalike. Even when you get the spawn-offs of like the Kanye, like Chances and other, these not really even Drakes. Those are really Kanye spawn-offs. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Drake is a Kanye spawn-off.
Correct. That's my point. Wayne isn't. That was my point.
Right.
Wayne is not a Kanye. There's nothing. You can see a lot of Kanyes in the world. You can see the what's your boy name? Kid Cudi. You can see the Drakes. You can see a lot of Kanyes in the world. I don't see a lot of just Drake in the world.
And we'll move on from Wayne, but I just think, when you think about whose DNA is in the music, I just think
it's Drake's DNA.
Drake's DNA
right now is in the music. It might be not like lookalikes, but
mainstream music based on what? Mainstream music.
Yeah. I mean, singing along and hooks.
We got Young Thugs. We got every one of these cats look and sound like Lil Wayne. Right. Every one of these cats.
Okay, but we gonna move.
Yeah, all right. So I mean, you guys pretty much just shitted on my Lil Wayne.
No, Lil Wayne was Lil Wayne was the topic. That was what I'm saying.
Y'all pretty much.
Lil Wayne was
saying Lil Wayne was overrated. We was like, nah, but is he though?
Yeah.
But that was the purpose of the thing. That was the whole purpose of the flip. Because that was, as soon as he said it, I was like, based on the rapper part. Now lyricism, me and Al gonna be on the same side for about 90% of the time. But as far as
bits.
Right, but I would still put 5-6 people above him. I'm pretty sure he would. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But and he does spit. But I would still, on my best day, think off the back of my head 5-6 people that I would personally just pick just because of personal preference. But when we talking rapper, that's why I was asking very clear. When we talking about rapper talk, I'm thinking influences. I'm thinking body of work. I'm thinking every mainstream artist today reminds me or looks like Lil Wayne in some kind of fashion.
So who do you think is over? Who's
gets too much credit? Who do you think?
On this joint, hold on. On this?
Or just in general.
Oh, in general, I mean, and it's considered great. Rapper?
Yeah. General consensus.
Here's my thing, because I'm a lyricist person.
Lord
so
Jesus.
I'm gonna be wide. I'm gonna break it down real quick. My lyricist says if you ain't really spitting, it's hard for me to really understand what's going on. But so if your numbers say what it is, clearly there's something that I'm missing. You know what I'm saying?
So is this overrated?
All right, so based on that list, I'm going to go with M. And which is conflicted to me because in the 90s I loved M because of his lyricism.
Right.
I don't think that he surpassed the 90s for some reason. Like I don't think his music grew hip hop wise 90s. You know, man, which is again it's one of those things everybody would jump on a bandwagon.
He was kind of more so 2000s.
Yeah,
I would think.
Well, I meant 99. I'm sorry.
Yeah, 99 the first album. 2000.
But actually, he was because Rawkus. He was definitely backpacking.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he was definitely
backpacking and doing freestyles and stuff like that. But mainstream is what I'm saying. Where I kind of got lost with him. Like the very first album, How My Name Is, and all that. I remember bumping that heavy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Then as it started getting more. I don't know what the word is. It didn't resonate with me anymore as far as hip hop no more.
So I'm glad you said that. So that way, when we get all the way around, I ain't got to reiterate the same shit.
Well, I felt like that was gonna be the easy thing to do. I feel like everybody would say Eminem was overrated, which really
everybody
isn't.
doesn't because
He really isn't.
And us doing this research. I mean, it's clips out there and. Hell of rappers, like ton of rappers, they all giving it up like,
He
yo.
is
I
good.
mean, you know,
He's
I come
great.
from that because, like, from a lyricist standpoint, like the boy is crazy. I remember, like you said, you was bumping the first one. I was bumping the Marshall Mathers.
Yeah.
That shit was classic at the time. Like we said, we talk about classic. Like, I sit back with this pack of zigzags and this bag of this weed. It gets me. That shit is fucking crazy.
Right.
I got goosebumps. Like that shit was crazy.
Absolutely, he had a lot of good joints on that album.
But when was the last time you motherfucking sat down and was like, I'm about to put in this Marshall Mathers?
I did. It just didn't hit me. That's my point. Because I'm such a hip hop fan, I gave it a shot the last 5-6 years, and it just didn't go there anymore.
I think you know what it is.
So he didn't live on for classic for me. He had a classic time.
Right.
He didn't live in his. I feel like you said, the Marshall Mathers. I feel like the My Name Is Shady. I feel like those two will live the test of time to always be called classical albums. I don't know that because of that, Marshall can always become classic rapper.
I think I think one of the knocks on M has more so has a little bit to do with kind of his content to a certain extent.
It's definitely his content.
because he's rapping about stuff like some off the wall stuff
that doesn't resonate with us.
He transcended though, to your point. I like the off the wall stuff. You like the Marshall Mathers joint because it transcended to a body of things. My Name Is album literally was just metaphor. My pencil in the eye and the glitter. You know what I mean? It was really nothing, but I liked it because it put words together that at the time it was like, oh, this is what I like.
His wordplay,
right?
His wordplay is crazy. But you know what it is in the hip hop fan base. I think you have certain subsets. You have the streets is part of it. We have the fans that want to hear that street shit. We want to hear And M wasn't bringing none of that to the table. You know what I'm saying? No, he was talking about killing his mother.
Right.
Yeah.
Like in our community, you can talk about your dad. The dad might get shitted on, but ain't nobody gonna talk greasy about their mom.
Right.
So I think when he was talking about stuff like that and
killing his baby mom.
It was kind of like
putting
for
her in
us,
the trunk
and I say us, not us, but just the typical
Right.
hip hop fan. That was a little crazy.
Well,
you know
here's
what I'm saying?
the cliche to that. He got us by learning how to rap. We knew he wasn't black. Now he just started talking about what white people do. That is nothing. There's nothing wrong with being white and talking about what white people do. But rapping so good that black people were like, I fuck with him. That was what made him great because he rapped so good that black people fuck with him. But he did not try to rap about black problems. He didn't have black problems,
which was smart on his part. But I think it was held against him. The fact he's white. Now that's going to be
clearly you can't move.
That's
around
going to and some people that's going to be held against him. He's a white dude. Da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you think about what came before him. Vanilla Ice and certain guys that were like, you know what I mean? So
right. Marky Mark,
like Mark Wahlberg. Right. For those that don't know, he was a rapper in the early '90s.
Good
like
vibration.
Right. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like,
it was a hit though.
Smooth.
Was a hit though.
He had a couple.
And he's still relevant right now.
Yeah,
they made it a hit. If you had a choice, it wouldn't have been a hit. That's another thing that you had to worry about. They made you make a hit. There was no other option but to make it a hit.
Yeah, so that's all what happened before M. So I think because of that was held against him. Like, I don't like rapper. Then he started rapping about little crazy stuff. So I think that's held against him. However, I think M, in a lot of cases, he's rated accurately, in my opinion. I think that I don't come across many people saying he's GOAT and all that other stuff. But I think if you have M in your top 5, I wouldn't have a problem.
I wouldn't have a problem with it.
My
problem
is
understandable. Having him at number 1 or 2.
Yeah. Now that to me,
do this for me right quick. Google best rapper ever.
So
Google best rapper ever.
While he's doing that, I'm going to say why the top 5 is hard for me to put M there is because you after a certain period, I can no longer say that his music was there to continuously be top 5. The reason why Jay-Z can go in a lot of people's top, and not everybody's, obviously young people don't always put him there, but some do. But the reason he can stretch from some 18s to up to 50 is because every year you can say an album was decent enough to say he did something good.
Right.
We can say there was a few years where M missed that level.
Oh, absolutely.
We can say it was a few years where he rung that doorbell and knocked that bitch over.
That's kind of my thing with Wayne, but I'm gonna leave Wayne alone. But anyway.
Right.
I digress.
Difference is a 6-year difference of age group, which fashion and swagger overtakes what rap doesn't. M didn't have fashion, swagger, anything that they can bring personality wise. What Wayne lacked in. Exactly, but for culture, but even for what Wayne did, white people wanted him. He was he stopped doing a hip hop tour and went on a rock and roll tour. So there's clearly that
he had the skateboard.
It was clear that everybody black wanted to be him and still wants to be there. And the white people now saying we accept you wholeheartedly as well, just as much as we accept these people that have been going on tour for 30 years.
But here's the thing with M, and I think that it beyond just his wordplay, which we all agree the dude is. To me, I think if you look at it, just a guy that can just purely just rap, just spit right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I look at him. I look at guys like KRS-One. Like these are guys that can just go.
That's lyricist.
Just go. You know what I'm saying?
That ain't best rap.
But I think what Eminem doesn't get credit for is some of his songs, his real clever songs, like Stan. Stan
one of the greatest songs of all time.
One of the best hip hop songs ever.
Yeah.
When you think about him rapping from the perspective of a deranged fan,
right?
Yeah.
And the fact he starts off, "Hey, how you doing?" Da 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 da.
He gets madder.
Second letter, "Hey man, I wrote you again.
Right.
What's up?" Da 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 da. Third letter, "Look, man.
Right.
What the fuck is up, dog?"
Right.
Like you know what I'm saying? And just him and
it's got a Slick Rick vibe.
Well, yeah, and
storytelling.
But then it goes into their world where obviously. I don't think he was just totally making that up. I just think that when you're a celebrity, we look at it like with Donald Trump. You might have fans that really take it overboard. And I think he talked about that and just how people look at these celebrities like gods or something. They're people just like you and me.
So I'm gonna say this so we can move on.
Yeah.
I feel like now that song I heard recently and I still had the same feeling that I had when I was like, yo, this, like, I think to me, that might be, in my opinion, Eminem's greatest song ever.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Down,
Between that and Lose
down.
Yourself, but that Stand because
Yourself.
of just, it was like, he literally is, you're seeing the movie as he's going about it. You know what I'm saying? And
Vivid.
It took you from, he showed you how he's viewed. Then, like you say, okay, so you got the verses and everything from the Stan's point of view, but then at the end, he was really Marshall. Like, and he showed you, like you say, he wasn't Eminem, he wasn't Slim Shady, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't Slim Shady in that last verse. He was Marshall, like responding as, yo, like I do love my fans. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that shit, bro, like, that's, for me, his greatest song ever. But we're going to move on from M because, you know what I'm saying, we're going to get Charms, overrated artist.
It's overrated rapper.
Overrated rapper.
I kind of had to agree with fresh on this one. And I heard you say earlier, but yeah, I had to go Eminem on this one.
Eminem's slander is
Now again,
hold on, just because everything that we bringing up, the last time we was hot was 05. That's
Right.
15 years ago, bro.
Right.
You can't tell me anything from in the last 15 years that you can say. Now I can tell you something that Wayne did in the last 15 years that was relevant. He just dropped that joint with the Drake, the mixtape. He just dropped another joint that was slamming.
M just dropped 2 albums.
I didn't say he dropped. I said lyrics to them, something that you can say. I put my mind to and said this was it.
Yeah, nah.
We haven't. And I listened to M, and ain't nothing on the albums. Not the last 3. He had when MJK tried to battle him and he tried to spit back at him.
Right.
That was a pretty decent thing. But I like Eminem. I love Eminem. I was a big Eminem fan.
Right.
I have nothing to sink my teeth into in the last 12 years, and I'm a huge Eminem fan. I just have
It's nothing that's like.
I
it's
have nothing to sink my teeth into. I can run back.
Replay value.
Exactly.
Right.
And
That's the part.
And
Replay value.
Wayne doesn't have much, but he has some. There's a few things that I can say in the last 5 to 6 years, I can still say, damn, this was a good, decent song from Wayne.
Right.
There was a few. Absolutely. When Drake dropped
absolutely.
444
With Drake,
and he
yeah,
did remix that shit, that mixtape, there's a few things that he just put out recently that I say, oh, okay, that was pretty decent. I don't have nothing from M. That was the only reason that was a harder decision for me between them because I loved M's flow. From 99 to 05. I loved it. Like, everything he dropped, I was like, yo, I don't care what nobody. Because at that point, it was hard to be an Eminem fan. It's easy to be now when the smoke clear, but you was an Eminem fan in the Eminem era, it was almost like,
Right.
like
no, I remember
boys.
when he first
it
came
was
out
hard to
being
like
in
that.
college.
Yeah.
And cats like, this is not fucking hip hop.
Exactly.
I remember that.
That's why being an old head, you got to remember, you had to fight as hard for your hip hop back then as you had to do it now. It's just now the smoke clears, and you're like, all right, I survived the war.
all right.
So your thoughts on M?
Yeah.
Some more.
My thoughts on M is that as I'm looking at the list too, I'm gonna have to say my second person was Kendrick Lamar, and I rock with Kendrick. I do.
Right.
But to put him at number 4 to me is kind of
disrespectful.
disrespectful to a lot of people.
Hell
It's
no.
very premature.
Hell no.
Now, I like him.
Nobody's got 4 consecutive albums
I'm
greater
looking
than
at him
him
right now.
besides Rick Ross.
I'm looking
4
right now.
consecutive albums, not album here, there. 4 back to back to back to back albums.
Because I'm about to say
No.
Kanye
4,
came with.
okay, we'll give
Kanye.
Kanye and I'll
Okay,
give
I'm
Rick
about to say,
Ross and DMX.
You talking about
Those
his
are the
first
3. I'll give Kanye, Rick Ross, and DMX first 4 albums that were undeniably great. After them comes Kendrick. Nobody dropped 4 straight, undeniably great albums. 4 of them. Nobody. I'll give you Kanye. I'll give you DMX. I'll give you Rick Ross. It stopped. Not even Jay dropped 4 consecutive great freaking albums. 4 first 4 albums great. Nobody. Kendrick Lamar's on everybody's platform. Good Bad City.
Right.
The joint.
I'm looking at him now.
Every single
Right.
Kendrick Lamar album. I don't know every single. The first 4, because I don't know if he dropped more than those first 4.
Yeah, he's
the
got-
first
Right.
4. Absolutely, hands down, nobody can say they put out 4 straight bangers. Not even Nas, not Jay-Z. Biggie couldn't make it, obviously.
Yeah.
Maybe not even Pac, because the first Pac album doesn't consider this all of that.
You can say the first 2 Pac albums.
Yeah.
You know
So
what I mean?
you got a Rick Ross. If you're really a Rick Ross fan, because I'm a Rick Ross fan. And the first
me too.
4
Yeah,
absolutely
right,
was great.
absolutely.
Yeah,
DMX is really hard to. Maybe if you dislike not the 4th.
DMX
if you
first 2.
dislike
First
like
two.
the
the
4th.
first 2 was
2 after that.
out of there.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
I
the
didn't
third
listen
was-
to that third one like that.
No.
Well,
After the second one, I really didn't listen to none of his albums.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. I think
I don't know about that part. I don't
think-
know about going that far. For me,
I
I'm saying for
would,
me.
yeah.
Right.
For
The
me,
third,
I ain't
I mean,
First
I'm
2
knowledgeable
DMX
of
albums,
the
yeah.
fact, especially what the third one did.
Yeah.
But as far as like listening to them, it was them first 2.
And then
But-
Kanye.
Right.
Kanye's
Yeah, now
first
Kanye,
4.
I still go
yeah.
back now and
Yeah,
And
listen to
Kanye's
those.
first
Kanye.
4,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Kanye.
But
But-
other than that, if you put out 4 albums on the table, Kendrick is going to be in your top 4.
So okay, so that's albums. So so that's actually that
so
segues
that far
us
as
into
artists,
so
though.
that goes to the
no, but
artists.
that
makes
takes
sense.
us into where we're going next. But go ahead, finish your point.
No, I mean, like I said, I think I heard El say it's kind of premature, and that's just my thought.
Right.
I
Yeah,
like him, and I agree. His albums,
Yeah.
The Mad City, The Pimp the Butterfly, like dope.
These are it.
He's dope.
And it's
But-
West Coast. That's the Snoop
It's-
vibe.
yeah, right,
The
right.
problem is East Coast. It's East Coast. What it is, what it is.
But you know the thing with Kendrick, I don't think that if you didn't know, I don't think you would say, oh, he's a California rapper. He's
Nah.
you know what I'm saying? Like he's just dope.
Yeah, he's dope.
Period.
He's
You know what
dope.
I'm saying?
Right.
So, but yeah, I think Kendrick Kendrick is not as active as I would like. Like I'm hoping a Kendrick album comes out soon.
It's coming. It's got to be.
Yeah.
It's gotta be.
I think there was some rumblings that he was doing some videos. So I think
these guys are new Waynes, J. Cole's and Kendrick, because now they've transcended where you can't always hear them in the inner bubble no more. You got to catch them. They're in Africa. They're in, they're doing 50, 100,000 people shows. It's tough to keep feeding your people and live your work, what God has said you're here for. Your history. Let your history. They trying to make history.
But I think he makes a valid point. Having Kendrick like in your top 5 already, I think
right
it's
now,
just a little bit too
early. Of all time.
It goes to the source. I think it goes to the source magazines when we were young. That's all I was putting out there. Yeah. People were giving us what we had to be then. You see what I'm saying? Nobody wasn't saying when Jay came out they were no longer rigging KRS-One, which he still was at that point what it was. Rakim was still who he was at that point. Yeah. It's just that it transcended. So it's what it is. At that point, we had to say what it is.
And we're looking at it from, we're looking at it from our perspective of that
20-year lineage.
Right.
That's what I was about to say. It kind of goes to my point because when you say KRS-One, they have him way down the list. On this, we talking about rappers.
Is that fair though? Because we all should know that KRS, we would all feel as far as lyricists go.
Right.
He's been beating people up forever, and he's undoubtedly got one of the best diss records of all time. And there's some things that's undoubtedly, but because it transcended, nobody's checking for that.
Right.
Nobody's going back to say, damn, how did he spit that? But if you put The Bridge Is Over, or you play something like that, it's still, ooh, it's a chilling feeling when you hear it. Like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah,
boom,
I get it.
Boom,
but the list, though, the fact that
this messes with my main.
Yeah, because it says what Kendrick is 4.
Yeah,
they got Hove at 12.
They got
so
Andre at
just throw the
11.
whole goddamn list away after that.
Right.
Yeah.
Just throw the whole list away.
That's why they saying rapper.
Right.
They're saying rapper. They're saying rap. That's why we saying not lyricist. You got to be clear. Rapper versus lyricist.
Who do you? All right. I think you already said you was on the M slander train. You was on the M slander train,
right?
As well, you had a ticket on there. Yeah, you had a ticket on there.
Let's be clear.
You had a ticket on there.
In the 90s, I fought for M. I was one of those people that fought for M because
absolutely
you had listen,
boy is bad.
It wasn't a time where everybody accepted M. It was not.
Yeah,
Man, it was a time where people were like, yo, first of all, it wasn't a time that all these old hip hop heads were so peaceful with one another. All his verses and I loved him. Brother, there was people hating on the South, people hating on the West. All these old cats now, the Snoops, the Dre's, the DMX, all these cats was throwing subs all career long. It's just like any war. Once you done made it, you got your Purple Heart, you sitting home with your cane. You can sit with a Japanese and American soldier because they like, listen, man, we done survived. We done seen 100 people, da-da-da-da-da-da. You know what I'm saying? Like, it don't mean that they hanging out as soon as they leave. It just means that I can walk and I ain't got to shoot you no more. That's what it is now. But back in the day, M was getting shot at regularly. And the reason why he was good because he kept busting back and busting ass on Ja Rule, on anybody that came across with him. He linked up with 50. He linked up with the right people. He got Detroit on his back. He ain't never take no L's. Then when he got on his own and was just start making music, it just got to a world that was Lil Wayne, what people consider. It was like, oh, you beyond me now. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not that you're not whatever people consider no more. You just beyond me.
Let me bring up, which in a lot of circles would be blasphemy to say this, but I've heard this over the years. Big. Big is, I think, in most respected hip hop aficionados' opinion, he's top 5, top 4.
Definitely top 5.
Somewhere top, or even the top. He's the guy. But there's the argument always of, did he have enough? You know what I'm saying?
Albums,
is there a kind of like, you have to hit a certain, because we were just talking about Kendrick, like, it's too early, it's premature. On the flip side, we can say that about Big. Like, Big only had 2 albums. He only had 2 albums. How is he in the GOAT conversation just off of 2 albums?
Well, you know what I'm saying? You why, because also mixtapes and other things that he's done, you can find a lot of lyrics on him that can still hold test time. This is why I'm just saying why he is great. Not saying he was better than one or the other, but why he's considered great.
When you look at a lot of other artists, Big has probably the shortest, I'm not going to say catalog, but just
arsenal of work.
Songs. He just has, he's got Ready to Die. He's got Life After Death. He's got a couple features. He got some Junior Mafia.
His songs, being how small they are, his first album has 8 singles. His first album has 8 singles that are probably better than everybody that we can consider classical under him. But because of just, that's what makes it so strong.
Yeah,
Is that the stuff that he has? It's not the amount. I agree.
I'm not debating that he's in. To me, he's top 4 at a minimum.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? However, looking at it objectively,
For the sake of the
it's kind of
argument,
like, how can he really be? Because he only got this much of work.
Yeah, I agree.
When you
Quality.
Quality, but I think it was at that time we got to look back to like the West Coast had just taken over, right? You talking about the Snoop, you know what I'm saying? Like
Dre,
Chronic. We coming off of that,
Dog Pound.
right?
Dog
We
Pound,
coming
yeah.
off of that. So Big brought it back to the East Coast, and I think that's what did it, and I think that's why he's always like regarded as so high, because at that point in time, like he's the guy that actually brought it back, and then you had like the greatest marketer ever with Puffy. You know what I'm saying?
I was getting ready to say, can I say something that's getting ready to blow our
Dancing
comments
in the
up?
videos.
What's that?
Can I say something that's gonna blow our comments up?
What, man?
Big never gets as big as he ever get without Puff.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
There is no
He was a
no
mixtape
great
rapper.
lyricist, rapper alive, all that good. He would have fell under the Fushnikins, that kind of flow without a Puff Daddy.
Puff,
Absolutely.
or P Diddy for the
time,
But
right.
Puff, I think what he did, he took the rough guy and he said, look, we got to make it juicy.
Yeah.
We got to make a Big Papa.
Yeah.
And this is why he's better classically, because he did stuff that was already classic, added to it.
Yeah.
That's all he did. He said, okay, here's my lineage. I'm gonna add a little goatee to this already finger curl that we was already rocking. You know what I'm saying? And now I'm getting to look like Gerald Levert. You know what I'm saying?
Big with Puff. They made it dope to go platinum. You know what I'm saying? It made it dope to go ahead and put on some fly shit.
Right.
You know, put on some designer shit. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? The Gucci sunglasses.
Right.
You know what I mean? The
Versace
Coogi,
shades.
the
Versace shades,
Versace, yeah,
popping
Versace
bottles in
shades,
the
yeah.
bathtub,
The
yeah.
the
You know who
ugly ass
the
Coogi
highest
sweaters. You know what I'm
selling
saying?
East Coast artist was before Biggie?
Hello?
Redman.
Man, so that's a whole nother conversation.
'cause he's way down the list, too.
We're gonna do a
Underrated?
underrated.
Yeah.
EPMD,
Coming
Eric
up with this
Sherman,
list,
Eric
we
Sherman,
gotta do an underrated.
Eric
absolutely.
Sherman, EPMD, these cats right there, they were the big
That
East
was
Coast
it.
money.
That was it.
Yeah.
But
You
you
know?
could
I'm saying
again-
money wise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
East Coast money, selling records, they were the.
Yeah, Redman.
And, I mean, obviously, Def Jam. Let's not.
Yeah,
let's not never neglect
Redman
them.
doesn't get his credit because
No,
to
he
me,
doesn't at all.
he's definitely got 2 classics.
Them boys
in
on
my
your
opinion.
chest as well.
Naughty, yeah. Naughty, yeah. They don't,
I was just saying what the East Coast looked like prior to Big.
right.
That's what
Yeah.
changed it around. You know what I'm saying?
and I think Big, he like I said, he kind of changed it a little bit to not just be street, but to be fly as
To be
well.
fly.
You know what I'm
You know
saying?
what I'm
And he wasn't the best looking guy, but I can.
The confidence
Black
and the
ugly
swag.
as ever.
Right.
However, I stayed Gucci down to the socks. Like I
bro.
don't. I'm gonna bag every chick in here. I don't care. You know what I'm
What's
saying?
crazy
He was
is
that dude.
what Puff did to Big is what he did to every single person. He just finds somebody that can decently rap, and I'm gonna put the work on you. Nobody can't really take that from Puff away from him.
But you know what? I don't
He just
think.
finds rappers and makes them
But
better.
But Big
I don't-
was nice as
Yeah,
shit, though.
I don't think
Right.
that. I don't think he was able to
let's say this.
duplicate it. But
Before he got to the Puff swag, when you heard Party and Bullshit, that's decent. It's a classic because
was
it is a
cool.
classic. But that was, if Big continued to rap like that, he wouldn't have made it.
Yeah, no, Puff guided him, but I mean lyrically, Big was nice.
Guidance means
Now,
a lot in
I
lyrics.
will say that I do think that obviously his premature demise definitely goes to another point as far as why people put him up so high.
Right.
Because he did bring the East Coast back, but then when he got
died
killed
on
with
top.
everything, it was kind of like he was a martyr at that point. Like you see what I'm saying? So it's kind of hard.
He could have went Jordan. He could have went rap for 20 years
He
and
could
then played
have.
and looked like the Wizard.
And the things we don't, but we'll never
never
know.
know.
But because he
No.
died on top is
Right.
why
Yeah,
when you
yeah.
leave on top, sometimes it's a legend. You know,
Right.
you
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
have no
yeah.
way to lose.
Yeah.
Right.
Floyd, if I don't lose, there's nothing you
Right.
can take away from
Exactly.
me. Muhammad got losses. Mike got losses.
Right.
These greats got losses.
But-
if I don't lose, there's nothing you can really say.
But at the same time, like I said, and again, this is not my sentiment, but it's kind of like, if you went 10-0 versus 50-0, going 50-0 is way more impressive than going 10-0. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Because it's
I
for a
don't know how.
longer
I don't know how.
duration.
What if I don't know how? How does
Let me ask you
undefeated
this.
loss?
It depends on how you go.
Let me ask you
undefeated.
this. Let's talk basketball for a quick second.
Let's go to basketball anyway.
Yeah.
Before we do that, I just want to say that this next segment, you know what I'm saying, is actually being brought by the Interelite Network. You guys know what it is. Roku TV, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV. The Interelite Network is making Let's Make History podcast possible. Let's go straight into the actual
albums or basketball?
We're going to do basketball. We're going to do basketball. Since we kind of covered a lot with the music part. Before we wrap, I did definitely want to get to the basketball list.
Oh, let's hear it.
Yeah. And I think all right, well, let me say my point real quick as far as, you know, having and it's actually going to segue into basketball too, but you look at a guy like Olajuwon. He went 2-0 in the finals. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to say that, at least I don't hope, you're not going to say that, I'm going to pick your man, Kobe, that Olajuwon, he's flawed, he's undefeated. So, you know what I'm saying?
Kobe's not undefeated.
Right.
And I'm a big, you know,
right. But that's my
point.
point. That's my point. You know, Olajuwon had this short window where he was unblemished,
dominating.
You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? But I think everybody is going to put Kobe over him. When you look at Kobe lost twice in the finals, but it's kind of like he had a longer time of dominance, of battling people. So I think and again, we're going to move off of that. But I'm thinking that, you know, the amount of time that you had to operate does take into account, where, you know, in the GOAT conversation of anything, you know what I'm saying?
Well, that fact is because Olajuwon played shorter period than Kobe, so that means that within a shorter time, I've done what I came to do.
Yeah, but
so that factors in. So if I do less time frame, but I can accomplish my goals flawlessly, and really the fact of it is you got to get to a championship to be flawless. You just can't say you know. So if you go to championship, and actually,
let me take that back. Olajuwon isn't undefeated. I think he lost in the '80s to the Celtics, but I think so. I'll look it up. But you know, but the point I was just trying to make is that, you know, when you have excellence over an extended period of time, I think that you have to kind of get a bump with that, because it's harder to be good for so long.
Right.
LeBron James, for example, you know what I'm saying? This is a guy that has been doing it from 2003 to now. Yeah. And a lot of people, he's still the guy. He's still that dude.
But to your point, right? Same thing, basketball and hip hop. The reason with a big is because same thing with a Jordan. Jordan got 6 rings. He played numerous years, right? He got six great. What he win 6 rings, right? 6 great years. The rest of his years was mediocre. His first 6 years was okay, according to the league. His last 5 years was okay, according to the league. He had 6 great years. Yet those 6 great years allows him to be number 1 forever. I mean, it's almost, and the only conversation even comes up is the LeBron, which is it took 30 years for another person's name to come up being number 1. The reason why big is the same exact thing. The years that I played, hands down, every freaking thing I touched, from West Coast to R&B to every reggae. I mean, he couldn't miss. He could not miss. He was doing reggae songs, R&B songs, hip hop. He could not miss. And now, not that he could not miss, you can play Juicy right now in 2021. And to all the ladies in the place with style and grace, every one of us is.
Yeah, it's the whole thing.
Right.
Yeah.
That is what you're going to do in 2021. Even a 19-year-old is going to be like,
Right.
That is what makes it great. You might not do that with people 4 slots under big with any one of their songs.
Well, real quick, go ahead. What was you going to say?
Yeah, no. So we're still on the overrated topic.
Basketball, correct.
Basketball now.
Let me
So,
jump in there. I'm jumping in.
Yeah,
I got the perfect
I'm gonna go ahead and I got 2 people. And
saying
they're
like
Somebody's getting
similar.
ready to shoot at me.
And
You're
they're
saying overrated, right?
Yeah, it's overrated.
Getting ready to
It's
shoot at me.
overrated.
He just sat up in his chair.
I'm ready now.
Who you got? Who you got? Who you got?
So okay, and
this list.
they're similar, and they're similar. When I say similar in regards to accolades,
Okay.
Steve Nash,
Okay.
who has 2 MVPs,
Right.
and Greek Freak, who has 2 MVPs.
They're not on this list. I didn't see them on this list.
Well,
You
Steve
saying
Nash is.
Okay,
but then I was just making Steve Nash is on this list.
Yeah.
And I said Greek Freak from the standpoint because he has 2 MVPs too, and he's currently playing right now.
So you're saying he's overrated?
I feel like he is overrated.
Steve Nash,
when you
I would
talk about
agree.
being the 2-time MVP, I feel like he's
He
overrated.
shouldn't have been MVP, overrated, or he's talked about too much overrated.
Well, he's MVP because he's talked about.
My point is, he shouldn't be MVP in your mind?
No,
I don't think
Maybe
so.
one
No.
year.
Maybe
One year Shaq should have got that MVP.
Oh, you talking about okay? With Steve Nash,
Yeah.
Shaq
should've
definitely got it that year.
Yeah.
Shaq was
yeah,
averaging
yeah.
30 and 10 that year.
Yeah, he was putting up
I mean,
monster
you're
numbers.
putting up a 7'5" guy against.
Yeah, absolutely. A 6'3" guy.
But that's the thing, though. It's like literally, Steve Nash won MVP in back-to-back seasons. You talking about when Kobe and Shaq was in the league, but this was when Shaq was at his
dominance, right?
His heights.
Yeah.
And
There's no way.
I think Steve Nash pretty much won the MVP. I mean, we all watch basketball. That offense that they had with Mike D'Antoni was run and gun. So it was nothing for him. They scored in amount. They scored.
We were talking about Dallas.
No, we're talking about Phoenix.
Okay.
When he was with Phoenix, they were scoring within 8 seconds or less every time they got the ball.
Right.
Amari deserves credit.
Amari deserves a lot of that credit,
Amari
and
was a
Sean
monster.
Marion deserves a lot of that credit.
Right.
Yeah.
Um,
I was going to say real quick, and as far as an overrated guy, and this is a guy that's playing now, he's great, but I think Steph Curry is overrated.
Based on what?
Steph Curry.
I can't really
because
say that.
What are we basing it
It's-
on?
A lot of people have Steph Curry like top 15,
yeah.
Why
top
shouldn't he be?
10.
Why shouldn't he be considered top 7 point guard of all time?
Oh,
What
okay,
is-
now
what
if you
is
say
he not
top
No,
7
no,
Well,
point
no,
guard
no,
of all
we're
time,
not
that's
talking
different.
position. I'm talking
just
out of
basketball
everybody.
Okay.
Steph Curry, there's a lot of people. Some people have him in the top 10
They do.
Why should he
Yeah.
not be at least top 10?
because
What has he not done that anybody that's top 10 above him has not done? And why
Well-
should he have to do it longer than anybody? Isaiah's only won 2 rings.
right.
But Isaiah was the catalyst in those 2 rings,
Yeah.
too. Isaiah
and
Why do we say that? Do you really think that Golden State could have won without Stephen Curry?
Absolutely
in any ring
Absolutely
that they won? Any ring.
Okay, this is. And
Absolutely.
We
not.
can't say that he's
Once
right
KD
now
got
not
there,
doing
he
it.
No,
could've won.
he's okay. That's
Could
what
he
that's
have
my
won-
point
could-
now. Steph is great. Like I remember watching him. We from here. He from the crib. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When they was in the tournament and he was in Davidson. I remember sitting on the couch watching my man go for 40, and I had
I think Tarver
goosebumps.
went
It
to
was
school with him.
crazy.
He buzzed Georgetown and he
It
buzzed
was
Wisconsin.
crazy, right? So okay, it's great as Steph. I do feel like he's the greatest shooter. I feel like he's the greatest shooter of all time.
There's
Right?
no way you can use those words and still say he's overrated.
I'm gonna tell you why. Because of the fact that when you talk about a situation like, okay, the first ring, right? The first ring they won. Now we know they definitely wouldn't have won any of those rings without Steph Curry. So we're not even gonna play,
fact.
right?
Right.
The first ring they won. Kyrie and Kevin Love was hurt. Let's just keep it what it was, right? Hold up. Nah, look.
That's true.
That first run. Think about everybody they played.
Somebody was hurt.
Somebody was hurt. They played Portland. Damian Lillard was hurt. You know what I'm saying? And this is directly who Steph would have been going against. Now he got
Stop on the track. Stop on the track. Before you go further, you got to rewind one step before you go further. The year before that, them boys lost to San Antonio by a freaking hair. They had to beat San Antonio. They had to play San Antonio 3 years straight with Mark Jackson. The team that won the chip, the best team, the best well-known team to a man in basketball, the San Antonio Spurs team, not person player,
Right.
best known team known to man.
Okay.
They were young kids that were losing by inches.
Okay.
Every year.
Yeah,
and that was that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, bring that up to
How's
say-
that
almost
to this
don't
point?
count. Coulda, shoulda, woulda.
So that
Okay,
point was
yeah.
you're going to the second
I would've knocked him out if I would've hit him.
semi-conference every year with this cat. And as soon as those cats, you can knock out Rocky, he did knock out Rocky. And the only thing he did was bring out more power the same way they had power.
Hold up,
he made
hold
great
up,
teams
hold
the
up.
same
All
way
right.
San Antonio
Well,
made great teams.
but go ahead. But listen. But what he's saying, though, you have to take that into account. Along the way, that first chip, his first chip,
Jordan had to get stronger.
His first
Hold
one,
on,
hold
hold
on,
on.
but his first chip, he had, and no fault of his,
Right,
You know
it's
what I'm
not his
saying? And
fault.
again, I'm not discrediting him. I'm not. This is not a
No, we
diss
are.
on
We're
him.
saying overrated.
Well, he's overrated, but that's not saying he's bad. But
Not at all.
the fact is that first chip, he had injuries played a part in every round that he played.
Right. Every single
Yeah.
round.
And then
Hold on. Did we
and
just not say so?
And then, no.
Did y'all not just tell me so?
Okay, yeah, but hold on.
Did they tell me
okay.
so? So what does that matter?
Then
Kobe played with a injured and won a chip.
Yeah,
Jordan
but-
played with the flu, won a chip.
but
So
he gets to the finals, right? They win. He wasn't even the MVP of that finals. Andre Iguodala
He shouldn't have been.
That was a
but
jerk.
He shouldn't have been that.
Yeah,
though.
that was a jerk.
But
he shouldn't have been an MVP that year.
That stands to LeBron's greatness, but that's a whole other situation.
Yeah. But and then again, I'm not saying that Steph is not good. I just think that I've heard people say that they'll take Steph Curry over Kobe. I've heard that. Take Steph Curry over Shaq. Yes, I have.
Blasphemous.
That's blasphemy. Yeah.
No. But listen. I've heard people say they would take Steph. This was back when Steph was really hot.
Right.
I've heard people say he was better than LeBron James.
They were saying that during that time, and they were saying that, and they were going head to head.
We're momentum people. This is why I say everything is in a momentum, because we're momentum people. When stuff is going on right now, you're looking at something saying, "Man, he's showing something we've never seen." 131 shots.
But let me ask you
straight.
this. But you know what's crazy though? When you talk about the best players in the game right now, I don't think Steph gets mentioned. He might be in some people's top 5.
Simply because of injury. You're only as good as your last shot.
Yeah.
And everything, because of the internet era, you're only good as your last hit.
Okay.
Right. Everything.
So, but the thing, but what I'm saying is that LeBron, for instance, you can go back 10 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever. He's always in that conversation as the best. There wasn't no short window with LeBron. There wasn't no short window with Kobe. Right. But what I'm saying is, I'm making a point why some guys, have that top 10, and I think Steph is good. He's the greatest shooter of all time.
Right.
He helped change the game.
Absolutely.
Size is going to lose his credibility because you can't put him against LeBron and make him beat LeBron, or Kobe and make him beat Kobe, or Shaq and make him, or Jordan. You can't put him against these people to beat him, but you can put him against Isaiah's, these other people that is in his world, and comparatively say, I'd probably take him over them for sure. At least 7 people.
I think his influence is greater than his actual ability. That's what I think. I think that people, when you talk about the three-pointer becoming essential,
it's because of him, but that's because of his ability, though.
Yeah,
his influence is because of his ability.
Right.
But I think his influence is better than his actual, you know what I'm saying? Like
his playing ability?
His playing ability.
But we're saying he's the greatest shooter ever.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
So,
y'all are basing size on when you start thinking of people that are greater. I've never said that there wasn't people greater than Steph. There are. LeBron is greater. Kobe's greater. Jordan's greater. We saying, is he underrated being called the greatest in the top 5-10? He cannot be. Because there is too many people that I would pick him over them, period. I mean, there's days that really I got to fight between him and Isaiah. The only thing that differentiates him and Isaiah is Isaiah would fight pain. Yeah. That was what changes for me. For my personal perspective, I like people that is going to damn near down the court. Not to make that make sense because it's a business, but that was era I came from. You was about to down the court. I'm rocking with you.
I'm glad you brought Isaiah up because I think a lot of people put him over Isaiah, and I think, nah, man, Isaiah played 3 of arguably the greatest dynasties in NBA history
ever,
and he beat them.
So did your boy.
So did Steph
That's
Curry,
what I'm trying to tell you.
Steph Curry.
You have an old mind. You ain't looking at
No.
In 20 years from now, people
what
that
dynasty,
are my brothers'
what dynasty did Steph Curry beat?
He beat LeBron.
No, he didn't beat a dynasty, though.
The Cavs weren't no dynasty.
What?
The Cavs weren't no dynasty.
The Cavs weren't a dynasty.
They weren't a
only
dynasty.
won one.
They had
only
68 wins that year.
But they only had.
But they wasn't a dynasty.
It wasn't a
weren't no
dynasty.
dynasty.
The Cavs are not a dynasty. LeBron is a dynasty within
by
himself.
Yeah.
But
So then there were no dynasties in
He didn't beat any dynasties.
yeah, no.
They
We
all,
saying
they
Steph
all
Curry
fell
didn't.
off- They all got older. So he had to recreate a new platform. The same thing when you go back to hip hop, Lil Wayne. I can't keep fighting ghosts. Jay-Z done said that big. Y'all want me to fight Big and Pox.
What
I can't-
dynasty did Steph Curry beat? You
What
said
I'm
the
saying
Cavs.
is, what I'm
we threw
saying,
that
it
one
was a
out.
new millennium. When he came in, he was the new destruction of what he was doing. The only person that you can put in front of him was LeBron James. That was taken out.
And they
He
had to
took
go.
out
And
the
they had to go
monster.
get KD to do that. He
He
had to
had
get
to-
KD.
LeBron had to go get people to win. It's called a team.
No, that team
This
was
boy
there,
is
but-
boy is 6 foot tall. He can't beat a lot of people by himself. He can outscore, outplay, outmaneuver a lot, but he got to have a team.
But we're talking about just from the standpoint of, all right, the overrated part. When we're talking about Steph, they won the first ring, and LeBron still got 2 games in with Matthew Dellavedova, right?
He took him to 6 by
right?
himself.
By himself, right? Came back, and they won 73 games, right? They won 73 games that year. KD and Russ had them boys down 3-1, right? They came back. They came back. So you get credit. They get credit for coming back from but they choked and they choked. But you know, they did come back. only to then go up 3-1 on LeBron and Kyrie. So this is like, all right, so we're looking at that like, well, if Kyrie and Kevin Love was there the year before, would that have happened the same? If they were there the year before,
would have made a difference.
You see what I'm saying?
Let me ask
Even
you
if
this.
Kyrie was just there.
Absolutely.
Let me ask you this. Do you put
I don't think Steph
15,
has a ring.
Do you put
Quite
15 people, and the term of greatest people of all time, in front of Steph Curry? 15 people.
15 people of all time?
Of great, because we're saying overrated, so obviously we're saying greatest player, not point guard, because we already just
just
differentiated
players.
that.
Of all
Do
time?
you put 15? Because if you do,
Yeah.
you're going to not have 2 point guards in that list. Do you put 15 players of all time?
I would have
greater?
to say. I would have to say yes.
Shaq, Kobe,
okay, so in
Mike,
that thing, you're
Magic,
going to lose point
Bird.
guards.
That's
Kareem,
already 5.
Bill.
Kareem, 6.
All I said, you're going to lose point guards in that scenario.
Oscar.
That's all I said. You're going to play all day long without 2 point guards
Yeah.
if you put 15 people ahead of Steph. Because when you start playing a 5-man team, he's got to get mentioned in here. So if you're putting 15 people above him, which is great, and that's true, and it could be.
Oscar is one of them.
We can say that.
Magic. I'm
Magic.
going
Magic.
Not
Magic.
true. He's not true point. We're talking about true point.
Magic is the
Magic's
true
a power
he's the
freaking
true
center.
God.
Magic played
Johnson-
his first ring was won as a center.
But at that point,
I'm a
one
Laker
game,
fan.
one
Hello,
game.
I'm
That's
a
for
very
one
Laker
game.
fan.
He had to
One
play
His
game.
first freaking ring was one as a center.
One
He's played.
game.
Magic
game.
is
He's
the
been
best
lined up.
point guard
Oh, absolutely.
that ever
Absolutely.
lived.
Ever.
That's my favorite player. No, that's my favorite
Showtime,
player.
baby.
Him
Yeah.
and Kobe, my
Magic
very
is
favorite
the
players.
point
There's
guard
no-
GOAT.
There's no 2 people above him in my life. Magic and what you call it.
but he was a point guard.
Absolutely. I didn't disagree with that. But what I'm saying is you're going to lose a few if you name 15 people above him without putting Steph in there. You're going to lose point guards in that 15. You're going to
but
lose point guards. That's
we're
all I
not
was
talking-
saying.
yeah,
and in a
yeah,
5-man game, you got to have that. So when I say great, we got to think what 5 people on the floor would be. We just can't have, because if that's the case, we can put 10 centers out there. Easily. At least 5.
but you're-
Bill, Walt, Shaq, Olajuwon, all of them.
might-
We're not talking. We're not. But
No, go ahead.
Yeah, we're not. I'm not saying position. We're not talking.
I know that,
position.
but if you say
I'm just
great,
saying just
you're gonna lose.
players. So
Yeah.
if you are a GM and you want to start your team, I think you're going to pick a
15
lot of
guys.
players before you pick
Yeah.
Steph Curry.
Great is so, but right, you'll have a bunch of big men. That's my point. That was my
Not
point.
necessarily.
There's
No, no,
6
no.
big men that considered
Listen.
great that always get put out. We got Shaq, Wilt,
fresh
Walt.
GM. You got the number 1 pick.
I'm not taking
of-
Steph.
of-
I'm not taking Steph number 1.
Right.
I'm
Okay.
definitely say that.
Are you taking
I never
number?
said-
Are you
okay.
taking him top 15?
I'm saying if you have to build a team, he's got to
if
be
you're
in the
building a
15.
team right now,
he's got
who's
to
your point
He's got to
guard?
round out in the 15. Magic's number 1 is my favorite player
Okay.
of all time.
Would you
Okay.
take him top 15?
After Magic, it's between him and Isaiah that I'm thinking.
Okay, I would go
that's
there.
That's my point.
Yeah.
So in
Yeah.
that top 15, I gotta say, if I'm rounding out a 5, that at some point we gotta put 5 players that can play on the floor. Now, if not, because of what the history shows us, Walt, Shaq's, these cats are so big and dominant. Their domination means that if you're gonna say great, they're always gonna be there because they dominate. They're great.
I think what you, and I'm not disagreeing with you. I think that you're arguing as far as, putting the team together. You have to fill out the positions. So I get what you're saying. I'm just talking just from a positionless basketball, just saying who are the best guys.
Greatest players.
Yeah. I just think regardless of position, I just think a lot of people have Steph in like that top 15, top 10 range. And I think that's
Loosely. It's too.
I could definitely say he's not. There's 10 greater players.
Yeah.
I
That's
don't
all
know
I'm saying.
that if I was creating greatest list, because you can't separate basketball. You can't just say I'm gonna put 7 centers out there or 7 power forwards, or so you can't do that and win a team. Because if you put Shaq, Walt, and all these cats out there, they're gonna get beat by a better team because they don't match up evenly. So that's why great is relevant based on what a team looks like. Because basketball is a team sport. You know what I'm saying? Even 1-on-1, these guys couldn't beat. Like I think he can beat Shaq 1-on-1 because of what he does.
So, okay, before we wrap up, I wanted to get, so who, as far as on your list of overrated basketball?
Overrated. Man. Real quick.
Who was your person?
Real quick. The only person I could say on this list, based on this list, who I would say is overrated, is the first person I come to, I would have to say is Steph. Based on this list.
No, mine was Larry Bird.
Based on this list.
Larry Bird.
Legend is overrated?
I don't think
Absolutely.
I don't even think LeBron is number 2 on this list. I honestly don't. And I like LeBron. But if we want to talk stats, we're going to go to my boy Kareem.
There you
For
go.
the first 12 years,
There you go.
for his first 12 years in the league,
go.
Kareem averaged 24 and 10. First 12 years.
Do you remember his competition? No.
I don't remember his competition,
nobody
but
does.
I've seen it.
Nobody does.
But I also know that he had a shot just like Steph that was unguardable.
The most unstoppable shot
ever. To this day, you still can't guard the jump hook. The hook shot. You can't guard it.
Yeah.
Like he literally
still has the most points
ever.
Yeah. There's a lot of cats that
6
we
MVPs.
didn't get to watch their game, and we don't know their competition.
Right.
We know Steph's competition. We know Jordan's competition. We know Isaiah's competition.
But at the same time,
we watch their competition.
I do agree with that part, though.
But I think it's.
I don't know anybody when Lou. What was Kareem
Lou
playing
Alcindor.
first? I don't know anybody his competition when he was Lou. When he
but
played
I
in
don't-
Milwaukee,
Right.
anything like that. I don't know any of his
but at the
competition.
same time, I don't think that you can discredit somebody because you didn't see it. Because that's the
What is
argument.
his competition?
That's the argument that
You're
people,
only as good as who you
But
beat.
that's the argument that a lot of younger cats have about Jordan.
I'm about to say.
they didn't really see him. They seen the Washington Jordan. Like, this is your king. This is
Yeah,
your goat.
but
You know what I'm saying?
we can pull
And
back
then-
who he beat. We can
But
say
look,
that Karl
So-
Malone's got the highest numbers.
You're making
higher
my
than
point.
anybody.
Yeah, you make my point. So to do the research, you know what I'm saying? Then it's like with anything. You know what I'm saying?
In 50
To
years,
do
has
research.
anybody done the research of what Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has beat? I'm not taking nothing away from
No.
him. I'm just saying what was his
No.
who was his David and Goliath?
Right.
We don't know it. So
He's
when
played-
we don't know. We know Bill Russell and
He's
Walt.
play- he's
they were
played
playing against each other.
Will.
We know they was going against them.
He had to. He was.
He could have played against Will because they
You
were the
can
same
argue
team.
for the first
Unless he's
half
talking
of
about Milwaukee.
Showtime Lakers, he was the best player on that team.
Right.
For the first
When can
half
you argue that?
of Showtime.
When can you argue that?
I wouldn't say the
Yeah,
first
when
half.
can you argue
like,
that?
By the time,
Magic came in and won the ring on the first year.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is Kareem was. What I'm saying
Kareem was
is
already there.
Kareem
Kareem
was the
guy
best player
before.
on that team.
There
No.
wasn't that many NBA teams. There was an ABA team. They was still running around playing these all extra
well,
leagues in
the
Kareem's
80s,
era.
listen.
The era, Dr. J was still playing in Rucker and
Kareem-
ABA leagues
Kareem-
before the NBA. He came
Kareem-
in and came in.
Kareem was when Matt. I'm not saying once you get to the later 80s, Magic obviously it became Magic's team. I'm just saying very early on the
Right.
Showtime Lakers, Kareem was the guy.
Which
the
means
guy.
he had a stint. That's all I'm saying because we
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
have nothing where you
That's
can
fair.
say now we know Magic went against Bird, Isaiah, Jordan. We know that was he put that on his shoulder every time. We don't know who had to daggone. There was a bunch of big white boys back in the day
Okay.
that Lou Alcindor
But
was
that goes
on.
to your point too. If you look at, I'm a Mike Jordan fan too, Kobe fan just like you. If you look at Michael Jordan, and you look at when he first came into the league, if you look at the videos of the guys that he were playing, these were middle-aged white dudes.
But he was getting beat not by them. He didn't get beat by the middle-aged white
But I'm
dudes.
saying-
he got beat by the great black people.
But what I'm saying is,
Did get beat by the middle-aged white
Larry-
man. Got beat
Larry Bird beat his
Yeah,
ass.
oh, yeah,
The
yeah.
overrated
Yeah,
guy.
but that's not
That
who he's talking
overrated
about. That's
guy.
not who he's talking about. At
That
all.
overrated
He's not
guy.
talking about that middle-aged white
I'm
man
not
at all.
talking about that.
At all.
What I'm saying is-
Exactly.
what I'm
He's
saying
talking about
is-
Craig Elos and all the people that he did not beat. That's what he's talking about.
That goes to my
He ain't
point.
talking about no
So
middle-aged.
what you said was, we said
Bird.
who was Kareem's competition, right?
Right.
When Mike first came out, his competition wasn't Isaiah and them at first.
Yes, it was.
It was, but
Every single year until he started winning.
But what I'm saying is, when Mike first came in, Mike was losing to these middle-aged white men
No, he
teams,
wasn't.
though.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. He made it to the second round every year and was
No,
losing
no,
to
no, no, no,
Isaiah.
no,
Did he make it to the second
he
round
didn't.
every single
Very
year?
early on. Very
losing.
early on. He was
First
getting put out
round
in the first
exit,
round.
first round
He was
exit.
getting
Somebody's rookie
swept.
year?
Yeah,
No.
rookie year,
Okay.
second year.
All right, rookie and second year, I give you. But third year and on, he lost to the
Yeah,
big dog.
But even
He
look at the
reached the
videos of the
point-
people he was playing. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah,
If
yeah.
you look at the videos, these dudes had no athleticism. These dudes were 40 years old compared to a 21-year-old phenom.
It's just
It wasn't that many that he was losing to like that. That's my point. Like, in his rookie year, in regular season, he won a lot of games. Was he getting knocked out in a playoff games? Yes, because he didn't have a strong. Look at the game. The coaches were sitting on there, motherfuckers drinking beer in halftime.
But
it was a serious.
what it
But
is?
look
I
at the
think-
competition, too.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
I
saying.
think just to, I don't know if we need to rap, but just kind of, you know what it is, and it's cool for anyone that's great. You still can get picked apart. You know, there's still room for it, which makes it fun for us,
Right.
because you'll have a guy or I'll have a guy, and we can still, well, yeah, you know, he got swept. You know, that's what makes it so good, that even with who we see as the GOATs of whatever, you can probably throw some shot like, yeah, but you know when that,
Right,
you know
right,
what I
right.
mean. So that's what makes it good.
Do we
It
have
makes it
to?
healthy.
Can we agree that greatest of all time has to incur that you've beat somebody great? Or does it just mean that you're just that talented?
It's a
Because let's say
combination.
MC
It's a
Hammer's done
combination.
50 million, right?
Yeah.
Do we consider him that talented?
I think
you have to really beat somebody to be great. The only point I bring about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, we as a group do not know who he's beaten to where we can say
That's
this
a
is
good point. No,
this
good
is
point.
what he's
You made a
done.
good point.
I know who Bill's beaten. I know who Walt beaten. I know who Jordan's beaten. I know anybody I can Shaq. I know anybody I consider in a great terminology. I can say this was their X factor. This is what this was.
Kareem-
I don't know what Kareem beat. He was in an era where they was all around a game.
He caught
Dr.
a ring,
J and Bernard King. These were the cats that were really also. And if you go ask people like my father, they might say, "Damn, Dr. J and Bernard King was actually a better player than Kareem."
Some people will say
Dr.
that,
J and Bernard is highly ranked in a lot of people's in that era. But they're not talked about in the list.
You can shoot holes in anybody that we named. You know, people take shots at Jordan.
Not to
you know,
shoot, not
to
to
us,
shoot
that's
holes.
blasphemy.
I wasn't shooting. I was just saying, who did he?
It's not blasphemy to shoot shots.
Who was
at
Tyson's?
Jordan.
Who was his Buster Douglas? Who was his? That's all I want to know about Kareem. Who was that? I know about everybody else's Buster Douglas. I know about everybody else's Achilles heel. I know them. I don't know Kareem at all, because the fact of the matter is, when he was coming in, the NBA wasn't solid yet. It was not a formed NBA quite just yet.
You're a Laker fan. You need to go do some research on Kareem.
That's right.
I don't even care.
He knows that, right?
I let you slander Eminem. You ain't about to slander Kareem Abdul. You're not about to do that.
All I ask for you to do is give me his arch enemy. Give me his arch enemy, and I'll digress.
You're not about to slander. You're not about to slander Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I'm not going to have it, damn it.
When he was winning his chips, just say, "This is who we would be."
I'm not going to have no Kareem Abdul-Jabbar slander on my watch.
Information, then I say, "I'll
not on my watch."
So who did? No, but he did. If I'm correct, he did beat Dr. J though.
Yeah.
Dr. J beat him as well. Yes.
Dr. J beat him. Yeah,
and Moses Malone, another person that, as a basketball aficionado, you would know that these cats are like, you can say their name with Kareem.
Right.
You're not allowed to name you say with Jordan. You can say Moses, Dr. J, and Kareem, and nobody would say, "Damn, you tripping." Nobody.
Right.
As a Laker fan, I'm gonna need you to go do some research on Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
They played.
Then,
I mean, I think they did
we'll
play the
talk
Philly.
about this.
I think he did play the Philly.
I would say Philly.
Moses and Dr. J. I think that was a little joint.
I'm gonna need you to go do some Kareem.
I ain't gonna do it because Kareem ain't highly. I'm putting Shaq
Willis
over
Reed
Kareem.
probably. I think they played. I know they played the Knicks at one point. But go ahead.
Yeah.
No,
I'm taking 3 centers over Kareem based on my lack of knowledge. For sure.
Oh God.
I'm taking
3
centers
over Kareem.
I'm taking Shaq.
I'm gonna take Shaq. Maybe
Over
Hakeem.
Kareem?
Yes.
I would take Shaq. Shaq to me, Shaq is
Shaq.
You would take Hakeem over Kareem?
I'd probably do because what I've seen.
Dog,
because
I'm gonna be
Shaq's
straight
protege,
up.
Shaq's lineage comes from Hakeem.
And I get it. We going on based on what we seen.
We didn't really see Kareem like that. But
To
I
the
saw
season-
Shaq. I saw
beat
Hakeem.
the Kembays. He beat great.
To the seasoned Laker fans listening to this podcast, please don't hold it against these gentlemen.
Right.
I'm going to
Anybody in
have them
the
do their
comments,
research
just
on
let me
Kareem
digress by giving
Abdul-Jabbar.
me who was the arch enemy.
If Chris Broussard listens to this,
I got it right here.
if the basketball, if Stephen A. Smith, if you hear this nonsense that they're saying,
how many rings does
man.
Kareem have?
6.
please don't hold it against them.
How many does Kareem have prior to Magic?
1.
He had 1 with Oscar Robertson.
Yep.
Is my point getting a little bit clearer here?
I would
Is
say
it
that.
not?
L is like, yo.
Let me just
And he was the man
let me
in
just read
Milwaukee.
this.
To the
He was the
NBA
man
fans
in
listening to
Milwaukee.
this, please don't hold it against my brothers
Let me
here.
read this real quick.
Because
Kareem
Kareem
slander.
wouldn't change his name, went Muslim, did karate, got into movies.
Let me read
This
this
is
real
big.
quick.
What is that?
I'm saying his basketball stuff spread. This was in the height of basketball
Lord
career.
Jesus,
Him and Jim
Kareem
Brown-
got divorced.
him and
You know,
Him and
Kareem.
Jim Brown didn't play
Kareem
sports
was left-handed.
to their best of
Oh,
ability.
oh,
That's what I'm saying.
man.
Jim left at his peak too. A lot of these cats left at peaks. Like we don't know what they
I'm
did.
about to flip this table over.
All right,
Now look,
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
now you said. Let me read this real quick. It just says this about Kareem. He has a record 19-time NBA All-Star, right? 15-time NBA selection, 6-time NBA champion, 11-time NBA All-Defensive Team. Pat Riley, Isaiah Thomas, and Julius Erving have called him the greatest basketball player of all time. Now,
That's
you just
your,
said,
Pat Riley's your man.
You said-
Pat Riley's your man.
None of that. What was that convincing me about? What was that?
Oh, Lord.
I mean, what was that
I
convincing
said
me
that
about?
because you said Julius Erving and you said Isaiah was your guy.
No. What we were saying was who was the arch enemy. All you did was give his stats.
I did.
And then you
If I
said
didn't
how
know
many
any
rings did
better,
he win
man.
prior to him? 1.
But
Lord,
and who did he beat?
Abdul-Jabbar slander.
Okay. So
Yeah.
yo. We shit. Let's make history, man.
We
Like,
made history
you know
today.
what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
we're gonna wrap it up right there because
man.
we can keep going on about that. We're going to continue some of these conversations later.
We have part 2.
I'll see y'all on
absolutely,
Facebook. I'll be
absolutely.
slandering y'all on Facebook.
But yeah, again, Let's Make History podcast brought to you by the Inner Elite Network.
Yeah.
Fellas, this is the first episode. You know what I'm saying?
Great job,
we
gentlemen.
did that, and we're gonna take it home from there.
Yeah.
Yep.
We'll see you guys next time.
Yes, sir.
Let's go.
Peace.